Hey guys, M.V.K here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? Um, Back for some, give you my thoughts. So I'm trying to do this real quick, and not real quick, but the amount of length that I can go. Um, but if you haven't heard the news, then you probably have been busy or you've been sleeping under a rock. Well, is basically Marvel and Netflix have come to a deal. And the deal is that Netflix will take four of Marvel's properties and make four 13 episode series, and then it'll go into a combination, kind of like what they did with Marvel did with Cap, Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, and then went into the Avengers. But this time it'll be Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones, and it'll lead into the Marvel Cinematic Universe's version of the Defenders. So I'm here to give my thoughts on this as well. First of all, I think this is great. Well done. Well done, Marvel. I've always said that some of these properties deserve TV series before jumping into feature length movies and things like that. So let's kick it off with the man without fear himself, Daredevil. Matt Murdock grew up in Hell's Kitchen, New York. First of all, don't don't get it twisted of what Hell's Kitchen looks like in the comics in New York now. Hell's Kitchen doesn't look anything. It is not a very gritty, bad place to live anymore. Trust me. Um, but I've always said Matt Murdock Daredevil would work so well as a TV series. Now that Marvel has gotten the TV rights and the movie rights back from from uh, from Fox, uh, great. Um, this really does my heart good to know that Matt is getting back into fold into some ways of live action. You know, sure he had a movie, and sure in cinematic view it was kind of a flop, but it did make money enough to make a spinoff. Unfortunately, that spinoff sucked, and we all know that. But this is a good way of bringing the more street level heroes of the Marvel U to screen, as well as give showcase Matt as being the basically the his alter ego, lawyer by day, crime fighter by night. Now, in terms of that, what else could we see in this? We could probably see Bullseye, Kingpin, Elektra, Stick, and all the other great supporting characters, Foggy, Karen, all these other characters in this show. Now, each series is supposed to be 13 episodes. Daredevil's first, which comes out 2015, and they're going to be self-contained, so it'll have a lot of characterization and focus on each character. That's great. And being that it's on Netflix, it gives it more time and effort, so it doesn't have to be more fast paced. It's kind of, and as well as what I've been hearing from a lot of other people saying that it could be a little bit more ground darker, not as much, still family orientated, but more edgier in terms of the feel of Daredevil, but not too gritty and gloomy as at Batman s. But this is great. Now, in terms of who can play it, I'm always open to a new face to take up the role. Hopefully, we see some great fight choreography and just all kinds of good stuff from Daredevil. And who is going to be the villains in this? I'm banking maybe Bullseye, maybe Gladiator, maybe Mr. Fear, and maybe Kingpin, maybe the big bad of the whole thing, which brings these four characters together as the Defenders. But this is good. Daredevil, good stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So let's move on to my boy Luke Cage. So right off the back, I guess we can scratch off uh, Terry Crews and all those people like that. You know, especially all the comments, what he said. You know, I lost a little bit of respect for that guy in a sense. But Luke, we all know Luke's story. Grew up Harlem, another part of New York, uptown New York, Manhattan. Basically, he was convicted of a crime he didn't commit. He was framed by his best friend Willis Stryker, the first Diamondback, sent to prison, wronged. People treated him wrongly, especially a lot of the guards. He basically opted for a experimental experiment that was funded by Tony Stark, and the guard there pretty much sabotaged the experiment. However, in the process, Luke gained abilities, his unbreakable skin, super strength, things like that. Became, you know, a hero for hire. But the thing was, Luke never took money from anybody. Every time he never took it. So this is also another grounded base street level hero who we can see be a little bit more focused, and not just that, but also a focus of we haven't seen in the big screen late. I mean, besides Falcon and Ultimate Nick Fury, but another minority character from Marvel showcased pretty good. Now, what would I want from Luke's for this Luke Cage? More of Bendis's Luke Cage, not that streetwise, that thug mentality Luke Cage, that we got back in the 70s, that jive talking Luke Cage. Maybe a little bit, but more of what Luke was like when Bendis was writing. That's why I will, no matter what criticism you give Bendis, I will always thank him for what he did with Luke Cage. He made Luke Cage a real player in the Marvel Universe. And I don't mean that sexually, I mean that metaphorically. And it's a very good piece of what he did. And that's the Luke Cage I would want to see brought to it. Showcase the kind of the he's the people's hero. He doesn't hide behind a mask. So he shows to the bad guys, hey, I'm right here. You want no, I'm not gonna use that, but I'm right here. Come get me. You can't really hurt me because I'm bulletproof. I'm unbreakable. I can't be hurt. And so you see where I'm going at with that. So, but yeah, he's the people's hero, and sure, we can scratch out the Rock. Okay, please. I'm gonna say this right now, guys. Nobody knows. Only a few friends know this, but yes, I have a man crush on Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I'm not afraid to admit that. Um, but even I know Luke Cage. I don't think so. That's not for me. But a new face, somebody who can get into that shape, look the part of Luke, is also a lot of people probably ask, what look would you want from Luke? The the Luke that is now, bald, goatee. I can go with his gauntlets and his, shirt, things like that. But one thing he has to, and I mean has to say in this show, at least once, is those famous words, Sweet Christmas. He's got to say that. He's got to say that at least one time. That's his calling card. It has to be. But just showcase Luke being a character that is of all generations, not just one, you know, and don't use aspects of, like some artists have done, like, oh, he's got to be like 50 Cent or some shit like that. Please, no. God, no. But yeah, still excited about it. Luke is coming. Thank you, Marvel. So let's move on to his brother in arms, his brother from another mother, Daniel Rad, aka Iron Fist. This right here can be a good way of blending superhero and martial arts big time, because that is basically what Iron Fist is. He's the genre, superhero genre, and and martial arts mesh together so well. This would be a good way of introducing the mystical city of mysticism as well, the mystical city of Kulun and Danny's trainer, the person who trained him in the martial arts, the Thunderer, and Xiao Lu, the Eternal Dragon, where he got the power of the Iron Fist from, you know, and then of course him coming to the real world, coming back to the real world, to coming back to New York and stuff, fighting crime, meeting Luke, and hence their partnership and friendship come together. You know, what I would want, that's pretty much what I would want from Iron Fist in a sense. So, I don't want to say too much about more about Iron Fist, but that's just the most of what I want. The combination of superhero and martial arts. Two things that I love, and what I practice and things like that. So, yes. Um, so yeah, definitely with that. Now, as for Jessica Jones, they've been trying to get something off for Jessica Jones for a long time. Now, for all those who don't know Jessica Jones, she was a one-time hero back in the days. She was in a series called Alias. She opened a private investigation. Her name was Cosmic Girl. She also went under the name Nitrous. Uh, and she retired because she was sexually abused by Jebediah Kilgrave, aka Purple Man. But also now that we know she is the wife and mother of Luke Cage's child, Danielle Cage. But she still retains her superpowers. She has superhuman strength, and she can fly and things like that. Now, this one would be kind of tricky as well, is because I'm not too vaguely familiar with Jessica Jones. I know bits and pieces about her. Like I said, just know a little bit. I never read her Alias, series, but I do know that was where her and Luke really started to get really close with each other and things like that. So I would think they would kind of build that up, but showcase a really strong leading female character, and that's pretty much how I look at it. Showcase her being strong. I don't think they need to go with that means of she was sexually abused and things like that, and by Purple Man and things like that. But that's where I think that would be a good villain for her, Purple Man, and things like that. So you can add that as well. So those are just some things that I would want from the four solo TV series, and then leading up to the Defenders. That's where it really gets kind of tricky, is because who are they going to be defending against? That's where it's going to be coming. Now, we all know the Defenders, the real Defenders, Doctor Strange, Namor, the Hulk, Silver Surfer, people like that. That was the original. But now that they're going with this, it's kind of tricky. But it's got to be a reason that's going to bring these four street level heroes together. Maybe a big gang war between a lot of the crime bosses, which I've also said could be good, because you bring in all these crime bosses like Kingpin and uh, the Owl, and Tombstone, and if they can use Tombstone, but people like that, yeah, they can do the hand and things like that. But this is just really good news, guys. And it also makes you wonder, is this going to be in the same cinematic universe? I hope so, because will we see like names like you would hear Tony Stark and Shield, and maybe even see Stark Tower in the back or something like that, things like that. But I would assume it's going to be based in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just another niche in that. Um, so that's really fun. I like the idea. I'm happy Marvel's doing something good. These are four characters that many of us, well, 3 out of 4, I hear a lot of people say we've been wanting to get them on the big screen or something like that. Now we're getting them in the future. Daredevil will be first, and it'll be go from there. So I'm looking forward to that. For all those who don't have Netflix, I subscribe you to get on. It's only $8, or borrow your friend's passwords or something like that. But this is really, really good stuff, and it showcases Marvel is they're pushing and they're going strong. But other than that, guys, this is Mount Vernon Kid. Give me your thoughts on this. And other than that, peace, one love, stay tuned, keep real, guys. As always, y'all take care.